1994, Detroit. General Motors takes the engine out of the Corvette and orders it made slower. Not cheaper, slower. Pull the aluminum heads off, bolt iron ones on, grind a softer camshaft, find 40 horsepower and throw it in the trash. Then put the whole thing in a station wagon with plastic wood on the side. Somebody signed off on every one of those steps, and 30 years later, that decision produced the cheapest horsepower in American history. The engine is the LT1, 5.7 liters, 350 cubic inches. In a 1994 Corvette, it made 300 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque, and that Corvette is now a car people put in climate-controlled garages. The same engine, the same bore, the same stroke, the same 10.5-to-1 compression went into a Buick Roadmaster. It went into a Cadillac Fleetwood. It went into a Chevrolet Caprice, including the wagon, and into the Impala SS. GM did not send it over unchanged. Three things got altered. The aluminum cylinder heads came off and cast iron heads went on. The 4-bolt main bearing caps became 2-bolt caps, and the camshaft was reground for low-end torque instead of high-end power. Rated output in the big cars, 260 horsepower. That is 40 horsepower less than the Corvette. Same block, same displacement, 40 horsepower deleted on purpose before the engine ever left the building. Now here is the part nobody mentions. Go look at what happened to the torque. The Corvette LT1 made 340 pound-feet. The Roadmaster and the Fleetwood and the Impala SS made 330, 10 pound-feet. That is the entire difference. They took 40 horsepower and they took 10 pound-feet. Think about what that tells you. The detune was almost entirely aimed at the top of the rev range. Down where a heavy car actually lives, down at 2,000 and 3,000 RPM, the sedan engine is doing very nearly everything the Corvette engine does. The 1994 Fleetwood brochure even rates it at 335 pound-feet at 2,400 RPM, which is lower in the range than the Corvette makes its peak. GM did not build a weaker engine. GM built an engine that stops pulling sooner. In a 4,500-pound car, that is a distinction almost nobody would ever feel. So why do it at all? Because a Buick sedan that runs with a Corvette is a problem, not an engineering problem, a showroom problem. The Corvette was the halo. The halo does not get beaten by a car your grandfather buys to tow a boat. And GM has done this before. Ask anybody who owned a 1989 Turbo Trans Am what the factory said that car made versus what it actually made.
The badge decides the number. The engineering just follows along. And once you see it, you can see the whole ladder GM built. 300 horsepower in the Corvette, 275 in the Camaro Z28 in the Firebird formula with 325 pound-feet, 260 in the sedans and the wagons, same engine family. 3 rungs. Every rung exactly far enough below the one above it that nobody in a showroom asks an awkward question. Call that what it is, product planning with a spreadsheet. And the cars were quick anyway. An Impala SS with that engine in a tall 3.08 rear gear ran 0 to 60 in about 7.3 seconds. In 1994, that was the same ballpark as a Ford Taurus SHO, out of a 4,000-pound sedan on a ladder frame. Chevrolet also gave it 12-inch front discs and thick anti-roll bars, so it stopped and cornered better than anything that size had a right to. Now the part that matters if you are shopping. The market has already figured out 2 of these cars. The Impala SS got discovered. Clean examples routinely trade well past $20,000 now. The Roadmaster Estate Wagon got discovered too, because wagons became collectible and the fake wood grain turned into a virtue. Good wagons are $10,000 to $18,000 and climbing. The market did not discover the sedan, the 4-door Roadmaster. Same frame, same LT1, same 260 horsepower, same 330 pound-feet, no bucket seats, no wood grain, no cult. Kelley Blue Book currently puts private resale on a 1996 Roadmaster sedan around $1,800. Do the division. $1,800, 260 horsepower. That is $6.91 per horsepower. Put that against everything this channel has covered. The 1960s bargains sat around $45 per horsepower. The 1970s sat higher in the 50s. Those were the numbers that made a car worth talking about. $6.91 belongs to a different category of thing. And the gap is not really about the engine. It is about who is looking. A 1969 Chevelle has 50 years of magazine covers behind it and an auction block waiting for it. The Roadmaster sedan has none of that. It was sold to people who wanted a quiet car with a big trunk. It was driven gently, and then it was traded in on something with a warranty. Nothing about that car got worse. The attention just went somewhere else. And on torque, it is worse or better, depending on which side of the checkbook you were standing on. $1,800 against 330 pound-feet is $5.45 per pound-foot. There is no muscle car from any decade that comes close to it. Not one.
The cheapest horsepower in American history and the cheapest torque in American history are currently sitting in the same car, and it is a Buick sedan with a bench seat. If you want the same engine with a nicer interior, the Cadillac Fleetwood runs about $3,500 in resale. 260 horsepower, 330 pound-feet, $13.60 per horsepower. Still cheaper than anything from the muscle car era by a factor of 3. And if you want to leave GM entirely, the Lincoln Mark 8 is sitting right there. 4.6-liter all-aluminum double overhead cam V8. 280 horsepower in standard trim, 290 in the LSC with 295 pound-feet. That car listed for over $36,000 new. Running examples with high miles have traded in the low thousands for years. There is also the supercharged 3800, 240 horsepower in a Buick Regal GS or a Pontiac Grand Prix GTP, and those cars are still being given away. Every one of these is the same story. Detroit built real power in the 1990s and put it in body styles designed to attract no attention whatsoever. Before you go shopping, one warning, because this audience will go shopping. The LT1 uses a distributor called the OptiSpark. It sits down at the front of the engine, driven off the camshaft, tucked underneath the water pump. The early units had durability problems. GM revised the design, and the B-body cars got the revised version starting in 1994. Two things follow from that. First, a failed OptiSpark means the water pump comes off before the distributor does, so a cheap part turns into an expensive afternoon. Second, coolant leaking past a tired water pump lands directly on it. Check the pump before you buy the car. That is the tax on this engine. It is a real one, and it is the reason some of these cars are sitting cheap with running problems nobody wanted to chase. Everything else about the LT1 is a small block Chevrolet. Parts are everywhere, and they cost nothing. Which brings it back around. General Motors detuned that engine by 40 horsepower specifically so it would not embarrass the Corvette. That was the whole point of the iron heads and the 2-bolt mains and the softer cam. It worked. It worked completely. The Corvette kept its crown. Today, a 1994 Corvette is a collector car with collector car money attached to it. The Buick they built to lose to it costs less than a set of tires for the Corvette. One block, one stroke, one compression ratio, 10 pound-feet apart where a heavy car actually lives. GM spent real engineering money making sure one of those cars would never be confused with the other. 30 years later, that is the only reason one of them is cheap.